Something that I see a lot in therapy is people that are completely burnt out by relationships. Either it's a romantic relationship or paternal maternal relationship or a friendship. And the reason being is the other person often has trauma, unresolved trauma, whether they acknowledge it or not. And because that's causing chaos within their lives, changes are required. But the problem is they are not changing. In fact, they're not even acknowledging that they need to change. These are the kind of people that will blame us. They'll blame the world. You know, if the world just did this, or if other people just did this, or if you just changed, I'm sure we're familiar with that. If you just changed, everything would be better. And because we're good people, nice people, reflective people, we reflect on that and we do change, and we start to make these kind of incremental changes of who we are to hope that that will facilitate an environment where everything will be okay. But what happens is eventually we create these kind of changes and we move these deviations, one deviation away from who we are continually over the course of time, maybe starting small and getting bigger. And it doesn't improve the situation. If anything, it makes the situation worse. One, because we end up completely burnt out and destroyed, a husk of our former self, a shadow of our former self over here. But also it highlights the other person that no matter how much change we do, it doesn't make the situation any better. In fact, things get worse. It highlights how much they need to change. However, they remain in this victim mentality whereby they expect everyone else to change around them. They maybe don't even acknowledge there's anything wrong with them, and we change. So we have our boundaries continually overstepped again and again and again and again, until at the very end we end up a husk of our former selves. And you see this all the time in romantic relationships, and the relationship would either break apart or they stay together and they're just miserable. I think it's really important to acknowledge that other people's chaos, other people's trauma is not our responsibility to deal with. All we can do is facilitate an environment for their change and their growth. We can't actively change ourselves to facilitate their growth. We have to acknowledge that there's that line, that is their responsibility, and that's for them to deal with. We can only supply an amphitheatre, a safe space for them to grow in. We can't continually have our boundaries overstepped until we're a shadow of our former selves. So I'd love to hear your feedback on this and on what you think about this, and if this is actually something you've experienced in the past and how you got out, or if this is something you are actually currently experiencing at the moment. So again, I look forward to hearing from you, but take care for now. Bye for now.